Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a question I think we all ponder at some point.
Yeah.
How to get smarter. How to keep our minds sharp no matter what stage of life we're in.
Right.
You guys send us some really cool research on the science of intelligence, and it is packed with practical ways to boost brain power.
It's really interesting research. What's so intriguing about it is that it doesn't just focus on like IQ.
Yeah.
It dives into how our lifestyle, our habits, even our happiness level, impacts how our brains function.
Yeah.
And the best part is it's all backed by science.
Exactly.
Which is refreshing in a world full of,
yes,
well, let's just say questionable advice sometimes.
A lot of questionable advice.
Yeah.
So are you ready to unpack these 9 lessons for smarter living?
Absolutely. Let's dive right in.
All right. Lesson 1 is never stop learning.
Okay.
The research really drives home this point that our brains are like muscles. You don't use them, you lose them. But what I think is so fascinating is that it doesn't have to be this huge time commitment.
Yeah. Even dedicating just 30 minutes a day to learning something new can be a game changer.
Totally.
Like, think about it. 30 minutes is basically the length of a sitcom episode.
Yeah.
So swap out 1 episode a day for learning something new, and you're on your way to a sharper mind.
Okay, I'm already feeling motivated.
Good.
The research also dives into this concept called neuroplasticity.
Yes.
I've heard this term before, but I'm a little fuzzy on what it actually means.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, neuroplasticity basically means that your brain can rewire itself throughout your entire life.
Okay.
It forms new connections and pathways as you learn and experience new things. So think of it as building mental muscle.
Yeah.
The more you challenge your brain, the stronger those pathways become.
So I'm picturing, like, my brain is this network of roads.
Okay.
And the more I travel those roads, the smoother and faster they get.
Yes.
But if I neglect them, they start to get overgrown and harder to navigate.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Okay, good.
And just like with physical exercise, you need to challenge your brain with different types of workouts,
Yeah.
learning a new language, taking up coding, or even engaging in mindful activities like, say, gardening or cooking.
Right.
These can all strengthen different neural pathways.
I'm loving all of these actionable tips.
Good.
Okay, speaking of absorbing new information, lesson 2 is exercise your brain daily.
Right.
So what kind of brain workout will you be doing today?
Well, I've been meaning to try that new logic puzzle app everyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It supposedly gives your working memory a real workout.
Ooh, I might have to check that one out.
Yeah.
When I think about exercising my brain, I instantly think about reading.
Yeah.
Which leads us perfectly to lesson 3, transfer knowledge by reading.
Good.
And I have to say, this research has a really unique take on how reading makes us smarter.
It does.
What really jumped out at me was this idea of ideational osmosis.
Yes.
The research suggests that reading allows us to absorb complex ideas of both ways of thinking just by immersing ourselves in the text.
It's true.
It's like our brains are sponges soaking up wisdom from brilliant minds across history.
It's almost like having a conversation with the author.
Right.
Even if they lived, centuries ago.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And what's even more fascinating is that the research emphasizes the value of reading fiction, not just nonfiction.
Yeah, exactly. While nonfiction, feeds our brains with facts and knowledge.
Right.
Literary fiction can build our emotional intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Think about it. When we get lost in a good story, we're stepping into the shoes of different characters.
Yeah.
Experiencing their emotions.
Yeah.
And navigating complex social situations.
Oh, wow.
It's like a virtual reality simulator for empathy.
It makes you realize that reading isn't just about accumulating knowledge.
Yeah.
It's about expanding our capacity for understanding and connecting with others. I love that.
Yeah, the research even offers a practical tip.
Okay.
Preview the material before you start reading. It's like warming up your brain for a mental workout.
Gotcha.
And then after you finish reading, discuss the material with someone else.
Right.
That helps solidify the knowledge and make those neural connections even stronger.
So much great advice already, and we're just getting started.
I know, right?
This next one is for me because I'm definitely guilty of not getting enough shut-eye.
Okay.
Lesson 4 is get enough quality sleep.
Right.
And let's be honest, we've all heard how important sleep is.
Yeah.
But this research explains why it's so crucial for brain function.
Yeah, what's fascinating is how it focuses on the role of REM sleep.
Okay.
It's during REM sleep that our brains do this incredible cleaning process, consolidating memories, clearing out toxins, and essentially hitting the reset button for a fresh start the next day.
So when we skimp on sleep, we're basically depriving our brains of this essential maintenance time.
Exactly, and the consequences are real.
Like what?
Like decreased focus, fuzzy memory, poor decision-making.
Wow.
Even a hit to your creativity and emotional control. It's not pretty.
Okay, you've convinced me I'm setting a bedtime alarm tonight.
Good.
But here's a question. The research mentions that a little bit of background noise can actually improve sleep.
Right.
Now, I've always tried to make my bedroom completely silent, but I'm open to trying new things.
Yeah.
What's the science behind that?
It seems counterintuitive, but a consistent soothing sound, like white noise or nature sounds, can actually block out those jarring, disruptive noises that can pull you out of deep sleep.
Interesting.
It's like creating a sound buffer for your brain to rest peacefully.
Interesting. You know, maybe I'll try that tonight. Okay, listeners, how does your sleep hygiene stack up?
Yeah.
Are you getting those crucial 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night? Remember, it's not just about feeling rested. It's about giving your brain the time it needs to function at its best.
Absolutely. And on that note,
Yes.
let's shift gears to something a bit more, shall we say, melodious.
Okay.
Lesson number 5, learn to play a musical instrument. Now, you might be thinking, wait, what does music have to do with getting smarter?
Right.
But this research makes a compelling case for how playing an instrument can be a powerful brain booster.
I've always wished I had learned an instrument as a kid.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking maybe it's not too late to start.
It's never too late.
Tell us more about how music benefits the brain.
Yeah, what's remarkable is how playing music activates multiple areas of the brain simultaneously.
Oh, okay.
Think about it. You're using your motor skills to play the notes.
Yeah.
Visual processing to read sheet music.
Right.
Auditory processing to hear the sounds, and even tapping into your emotional centers to convey the feeling of the music.
Wow.
It's like a full brain symphony.
Okay, that's mind-blowing.
Right.
And it's not just about cognitive function, right? There are other benefits, too.
Absolutely. Studies have shown that learning a musical instrument can improve memory,
Okay.
boost focus and coordination,
Wow.
even enhance language skills.
That's amazing.
And here's the good news. It's never too late to start. Even if you've never touched an instrument before, picking one up and learning a few chords can make a world of difference.
I'm feeling inspired. Maybe I'll dust off that old keyboard in the attic.
I encourage you might surprise yourself with what you can achieve.
Challenge accepted.
Right.
Okay, on that note, let's move on to another way to keep our minds and bodies in peak condition.
Okay.
Lesson number 6, do physical exercise frequently.
All right.
Now, we all know exercise is good for our physical health.
Yes.
But what does the research say about the brain-boosting benefits?
This research goes deep into the science behind why exercise is essential for a healthy mind.
Okay.
When we engage in physical activity, we increase blood flow to the brain, delivering a surge of oxygen and nutrients.
Right.
It's like giving your brain a power smoothie.
Wait, there's more, right. I've heard that exercise can actually help grow new brain cells. Is that true?
It is. Regular exercise can actually stimulate neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons. And this isn't just for young folks. It's a lifelong process that can be boosted with consistent physical activity.
Wow, that's incredible. So what kind of exercise are we talking about here? Do I need to become a marathon runner to reap these benefits?
Not at all. The research emphasizes that even 30 minutes a day of moderate exercise can make a difference.
Okay.
A brisk walk, a dance class, a bike ride. Anything that gets your heart pumping and your body moving can boost your brain power.
That's such a relief.
Yeah.
You know, the research even mentions that some of history's greatest thinkers, like Darwin and Da Vinci, were avid walkers.
That's right.
They understood the connection between physical movement and mental clarity.
Absolutely. Walking isn't just about getting from point A to point B.
Right.
It's a way to clear your head, process thoughts, and even spark new ideas.
I love that. So let's make a pact to move our bodies more, not just for our physical health, but for our mental sharpness as well.
Agreed. Now, this next lesson might seem a bit counterintuitive, but stick with me. Lesson number 7, push yourself to become more productive. Now, when we think about being productive, we often think about working longer and harder.
Right.
But this research suggests that working in focused bursts, followed by short breaks,
Okay.
can actually lead to greater productivity.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell us more about this approach.
It's all about working with our natural energy cycles. The research highlights this concept called ultradian rhythms, which are basically natural cycles of energy and focus that occur throughout the day.
So instead of trying to power through hours of work at a constant pace, we should be working in shorter, more focused intervals.
Exactly. The research recommends work intervals of 90 to 120 minutes, followed by short breaks to recharge.
Okay, that makes sense. I know I definitely hit a wall after about 90 minutes of, like, intense focus.
Yeah.
What should those breaks look like, though? Are we talking coffee refills and social media scrolling?
Not quite. The key is to actively disconnect from work during these breaks.
Okay.
Get up, move your body, step away from your screens.
Yeah.
Maybe meditate for a few minutes.
Okay.
It's about giving your brain a chance to truly reset and recharge.
So instead of grabbing another cup of coffee, maybe we should be grabbing like a yoga mat.
Yeah.
Or going for a quick walk.
Absolutely.
This research also talks about identifying and eliminating those productivity killers in our environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know those sneaky things that constantly distract us and disrupt our focus?
It's true. This is where self-awareness comes in.
Yeah.
You know, take an honest look at your workspace and habits.
Right.
Is it your phone constantly buzzing with notifications?
Yeah.
Is your desk cluttered with papers and distractions?
Right.
Do you have noisy coworkers who love to chat?
Or maybe it's that tempting bag of chips sitting within arm's reach.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Once you've identified those productivity killers, you can start to minimize their impact.
Okay.
Turn off notifications.
Yeah.
Declutter your workspace. Invest in noise-canceling headphones. And politely but firmly set boundaries with those chatty coworkers.
It's about creating an environment that supports deep, focused work.
Yeah.
And ultimately leads to greater productivity and better results.
And remember, this isn't about becoming a productivity robot.
Right.
It's about working in a way that aligns with your natural rhythms and allows you to produce your best work.
So important. It's about finding that sweet spot where productivity meets well-being.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears to a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
The power of nutrition to fuel our brains.
Yes. You can't talk about brain power without talking about what we put into our bodies.
Right.
You know what they say, you are what you eat.
And this research goes deep on how nutrition impacts cognitive function.
Okay.
It's not just about counting calories.
Right.
It's about giving your brain the specific nutrients it needs to thrive.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's break down those brain-boosting nutrients. What should we be loading up on?
The research highlights the importance of omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for brain cell structure and function.
Right.
You can find these healthy fats in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. You can also get them from plant-based sources like walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds.
Got it. Omega-3s check. What else is on the brain-boosting menu?
Next up, colorful carbohydrates.
Okay.
Think fruits and vegetables bursting with vibrant hues.
Okay.
These provide the brain with glucose, its primary source of energy.
Fuel for the brain makes sense. What about protein?
Protein is crucial too.
Okay.
It provides the building blocks for neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers in the brain that are responsible for mood, motivation, and memory.
Protein check. This is starting to sound like a really delicious brain-boosting menu.
It is. And here's a fascinating detail from the research that really stuck with me.
Okay.
It emphasizes the importance of mineral balance for cravings control.
Interesting.
When you're deficient in certain minerals, you're more likely to experience those intense cravings for unhealthy foods.
So eating a balanced diet can actually help regulate those cravings and make it easier to make healthy choices.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's all about giving your body what it needs so it can function at its best, both physically and mentally.
Which brings us to our final lesson for this part of the deep dive.
Okay.
And it's a big one, lesson 9, is deal with stress and do things that make you happy.
All right.
Now, this might seem obvious, but this research really drives home the point that chronic stress can be incredibly damaging to the brain.
Yeah, the research actually says that chronic stress can shrink key brain areas, particularly the hippocampus.
Oh, wow.
Which is involved in learning and memory.
So it's not just about like feeling stressed, it's about the actual physical impact stress has on our brain.
Exactly, and this is where stress management becomes crucial.
Yeah.
The research provides a bunch of actionable suggestions.
Like what?
Like spending time in nature, practicing breathing exercises, and cultivating gratitude.
Okay.
Now those can all make a difference.
Simple yet powerful ways to combat stress and protect our brains. But here's the really cool part. The research also highlights the connection between happiness and brain function.
Yeah.
It's like being happy actually makes us smarter.
It's like giving your brain a dose of sunshine.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So what brings you joy? what are those activities that make you feel truly happy and fulfilled?
For me, it's spending time with loved ones, being out in nature, reading a good book, and learning new things.
Yeah.
What about you?
I love connecting with friends,
Yeah.
exploring new places, and losing myself in creative projects. It's those moments that make me feel truly alive.
I love that.
Yeah.
And those are exactly the kinds of activities we need to make time for, not just for our emotional well-being, but for our cognitive health as well.
It's all connected, so let's make a pact to prioritize happiness and stress management as essential ingredients in our quest for smarter living.
Agreed, because a happy brain is a healthy brain.
Absolutely.
And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll wrap up part 1 of our deep dive.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve deeper into some of these fascinating strategies for boosting brain power.
I can't wait.
All right.
I'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're continuing our exploration of those 9 research-backed lessons for smarter living. In the last part, we talked about reading as a way to boost brain power.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what kind of books have you been diving into lately?
Oh, let's see. Well, I just finished a fascinating biography of Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, cool.
It really highlighted how his insatiable curiosity and diverse interests fueled his incredible creativity. It got me thinking about how important it is to cultivate that kind of intellectual hunger throughout our lives.
Yeah.
Never stop learning.
I love that. It reminds me of something this research emphasizes.
Yeah.
That reading isn't just about absorbing facts, it's about expanding our capacity for understanding and connecting with others.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful ways reading does this is through ideational osmosis.
Right.
Remember, that's where we soak up those complex ideas and perspectives simply by immersing ourselves in well-written books.
Right. It's like our brains are sponges absorbing wisdom from the pages.
It's almost like having a conversation with the author.
Yeah.
Even if they lived, centuries ago.
I love that imagery. And it's not just nonfiction that can expand our minds, right? Literary fiction plays a role too.
Absolutely. Reading fiction is like a workout for our empathy muscles.
Okay.
We step into the shoes of different characters, experience their emotions, and navigate complex social situations through their eyes.
That makes me think about how reading fiction could actually improve our real-life social skills.
It's true. Research suggests that people who read a lot of fiction tend to be better at understanding social cues, navigating complex relationships, and even negotiating effectively.
Wow. So the next time someone tells me I'm reading too much, I can tell them I'm actually working on my negotiation skills.
Exactly. It's all about continuous learning and growth. And this research offers a fantastic tip for getting the most out of our reading. Preview the material beforehand.
Gotcha.
It's like warming up your brain for a mental workout.
Okay.
And then after you finish, discuss what you read with someone else.
Right.
This helps solidify the knowledge and make those neural connections even stronger.
Such great advice. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about something I've always been fascinated by, the connection between playing a musical instrument and boosting brain power.
Okay.
I've always regretted not learning an instrument as a kid. Do you think it's too late for someone like me to start?
Not at all. The research emphasizes that it's never too late to reap the cognitive benefits of learning an instrument.
Okay.
It's like any other skill with practice and dedication, you can train your brain to play music.
That's encouraging. But what exactly is happening in our brains when we play music?
Playing an instrument is like a full brain workout.
Okay.
Think about it. You're using your motor skills to physically play the notes, your visual processing to read sheet music, your auditory processing to hear the sounds, and even tapping into your emotional centers to convey the feeling of the music.
It's like a symphony of brain activity.
Yeah.
No wonder it's so good for us.
And the research goes deeper, suggesting that learning to play an instrument can improve memory, boost focus, and even enhance language skills.
Wow.
It's like a cognitive upgrade.
Okay, you've convinced me I'm going to dust off that old keyboard in the attic. What instrument do you play, by the way?
I actually dabble in guitar.
Oh, cool.
It's a great way to relax and unwind at the end of the day.
I bet I can see how playing music would be incredibly therapeutic.
It is. It's like a meditation for the mind and body.
Now, speaking of relaxation and rejuvenation, let's talk about sleep.
Okay.
We all know it's important, but this research really digs into why sleep is so crucial for a healthy brain.
Yeah.
And honestly, I need to hear this because I'm definitely guilty of burning the midnight oil more often than I should.
I hear you. Sleep is non-negotiable when it comes to brain health. The research specifically highlights the role of REM sleep, that deep sleep where our brains do their heavy lifting.
What kind of heavy lifting are I talking about?
During REM sleep, our brains are busy consolidating memories, clearing out toxins, and essentially hitting the reset button for the next day.
Okay.
It's like giving your brain a spa treatment.
And what happens when we don't get enough of that REM sleep?
Think about what happens when you don't service your car regularly.
Okay.
Eventually, things start to break down. It's the same with our brains. Chronic sleep deprivation leads to decreased focus, memory problems, impaired decision-making, even a hit to your creativity and emotional control.
That's a pretty scary thought. It makes you realize how much we underestimate the power of sleep.
We do. And the research offers a counterintuitive tip. A little bit of background noise can actually improve sleep quality.
Wait, really? I've always tried to make my bedroom completely silent.
I know it seems counterintuitive, but a consistent soothing sound, like white noise or nature sounds, can actually block out those jarring, disruptive noises that can pull you out of deep sleep.
Uh-huh.
It's like creating a sonic cocoon for your brain.
That's fascinating. Maybe I'll give it a try tonight. Okay, listeners, be honest. How's your sleep hygiene? Yeah.
Are you getting those crucial 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night? Remember, your brain needs that time to recharge and do its magic.
Speaking of magic, let's move on to a topic that always fascinates me, the incredible mind-body connection and how physical exercise can boost our brain power.
Yes.
I'm curious, have you noticed any changes in your own mental clarity when you're exercising regularly?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I'm consistent with my workouts, I feel more alert, focused, and energized.
Yeah.
It's like my brain is firing on all cylinders.
Good.
But I always wondered, what's the science behind this?
Well, when we engage in physical activity, we increase blood flow to the brain, delivering a surge of oxygen and nutrients.
Right.
It's like giving your brain a power smoothie.
Okay, I'm picturing a delicious blend of brain-boosting goodness.
And that's not all again. Exercise also triggers the release of those feel-good neurochemicals like endorphins and dopamine, which enhance mood, motivation, and cognitive function. But here's the truly mind-blowing part. Regular exercise can actually stimulate neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells. Wait, new brain cells? I thought we were stuck with the ones we were born with.
That's a common misconception.
Yeah.
While the rate of neurogenesis slows down as we age, it doesn't stop completely.
Okay.
And exercise is one of the most effective ways to boost this process, essentially giving our brains a fresh supply of neurons.
That's incredible. So what kind of exercise are we talking about here?
Right.
Do I need to be training for a marathon to see these benefits?
Not at all. This research highlights that even 30 minutes a day of moderate exercise can make a significant difference.
Okay.
A brisk walk, a dance class, a swim, anything that gets your heart pumping and your body moving is a brain booster.
That's such a relief. I'm not sure I'm quite ready for marathon training.
And remember, some of history's greatest thinkers, like Darwin and Da Vinci, were avid walkers.
Yeah.
They understood the connection between physical movement and mental clarity.
It's like they were walking their way to brilliance.
Exactly. So let's make a pact to prioritize movement, not just for our bodies, but for our brains. Now let's shift gears to a topic that might seem a bit counterintuitive at first, pushing ourselves to become more productive.
Okay.
I know when I think about productivity, I often think about powering through long hours of work.
Right.
But this research suggests a different approach.
Okay. I'm all ears. What's the secret to unlocking our productivity potential?
It's all about understanding our natural energy cycles. The research highlights this concept called ultradian rhythms, which are basically natural cycles of energy and focus that occur throughout the day.
Okay.
We're not designed to work at a constant high intensity for hours on end. We're more like sprinters than marathon runners, mentally speaking.
So instead of trying to power through, we should be working in shorter, more focused bursts.
Precisely. The research suggests work intervals of 90 to 120 minutes, followed by short breaks to recharge.
And these breaks aren't just about grabbing another cup of coffee, right?
Exactly. The key is to actively disconnect from work during those breaks. Get up, move your body, step away from your screens, maybe do some quick stretches or take a few minutes to meditate.
It's like hitting the refresh button on your brain. This research also emphasizes the importance of identifying and eliminating those productivity killers in our environment. What are some common culprits we should be on the lookout for?
Those pesky distractions can be anything from constant notifications on our phones to a cluttered workspace to chatty coworkers.
Oh, and let's not forget the allure of social media.
Yeah.
It's like a black hole of productivity sometimes.
It's true. So the first step is awareness. Take an honest look at your workspace and habits. Once you've identified those productivity killers, you can start to minimize their impact. Turn off those notifications, declutter your desk, invest in noise-canceling headphones.
And maybe politely but firmly set some boundaries with those chatty coworkers.
Exactly. It's all about creating an environment that supports deep, focused work.
And in the end, that leads to greater productivity and better quality work. Now let's talk about fueling our brains with the right foods.
Right.
You know what they say you are, what you eat.
And when it comes to brain power, nutrition is absolutely key. This research goes deep on how what we eat impacts cognitive function. And it's not just about calorie counting. It's about giving our brains the specific nutrients they need to thrive.
So let's break it down. What are some of those essential brain-boosting nutrients?
Well, the research highlights a few superstars. First up, omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for brain cell structure and function. You can find these healthy fats in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, as well as plant-based sources like walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds.
Omega-3s check. What else should we be adding to our brain-boosting grocery list?
Next up, colorful carbohydrates. Think fruits and vegetables in a rainbow of vibrant hues.
Okay.
These provide the brain with a steady supply of glucose, its primary energy source.
Makes sense. Fuel for the brain.
And we can't forget about protein. It's crucial for building and repairing tissues throughout the body, including the brain. Plus, it provides the building blocks for those all-important neurotransmitters, which regulate mood, motivation, memory, and so much more.
Okay, so far our brain-boosting menu includes omega-3s, colorful carbs, and protein. What else should we be paying attention to?
One fascinating detail from this research is the importance of mineral balance for managing cravings.
Okay.
When we're deficient in certain minerals, we're more likely to experience those intense cravings for sugary, salty, or processed foods.
So it's not just about willpower, it's about making sure our bodies are getting the nutrients they need.
Exactly. When we're properly nourished, we're less likely to reach for those quick fixes and more likely to make healthy choices that support both our physical and mental well-being.
It's all connected. Now, we've talked a lot about different strategies for boosting brain power, but I think this next topic might be the most important of all. We're talking about dealing with stress and prioritizing happiness.
This is where the mind-body connection really comes into play. We can do all the right things, exercise, eat well, get enough sleep, but if we're constantly stressed and unhappy, it's going to undermine our cognitive well-being.
The research is very clear on this point. Chronic stress can have a devastating impact on our brains.
It's true. When we're chronically stressed, our bodies release a flood of hormones that can actually shrink key brain areas involved in learning and memory.
So it's not just about feeling stress, it's about the actual physical changes happening in our brains.
Exactly. And that's why stress management is so crucial. This research suggests some simple yet effective strategies like spending time in nature, practicing mindfulness, deep breathing exercises, and cultivating gratitude.
These all sound like fantastic ways to de-stress and protect our brains.
And here's the really cool part. The research highlights how happiness isn't just a byproduct of a good life. It's actually a key ingredient for optimal cognitive function.
Wait, so being happy actually makes us smarter?
Research suggests that positive emotions like joy, gratitude, and contentment can boost brain power.
It's like giving our brains a dose of sunshine.
Exactly. When we're happy, our brains release dopamine and serotonin neurochemicals that enhance mood, motivation, and cognitive function.
So it's not just about reducing stress, it's about actively cultivating happiness.
And the beautiful thing is that happiness is often found in the simplest of things. Spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies that light us up, connecting with nature, expressing gratitude.
Yeah.
These are the activities that nourish our souls and in turn boost our brain power.
It's like those small moments of joy can add up to big gains in brain health. I love that. So what brings you joy? What are those activities that make you feel truly happy and fulfilled?
For me, it's spending quality time with my family, hiking in the mountains, reading a good book, and of course, learning new things. What about you? What are those things that make your heart sing?
Well, I love connecting with friends, exploring new places, and getting lost in creative projects. Those are the moments when I feel most alive.
And those are exactly the kinds of activities we need to make time for, not just for emotional well-being, but for our cognitive health as well.
It's all connected. So let's make a pact to prioritize happiness and stress management as essential ingredients in our quest for smarter living.
Agreed. Because a happy brain is a healthy brain.
And
on that note, we'll wrap up part 2 of our deep dive. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll explore even more fascinating insights from this research and discover how to apply these lessons to our own lives.
Welcome back to the deep dive. we're wrapping up our exploration of those 9 research-backed lessons for smarter living. And, we've covered a lot of ground, from the power of reading and music to the importance of exercise and sleep. But I think it's really interesting how this research emphasizes that a happy brain is a healthy brain.
Absolutely. Happiness isn't just some fluffy feel-good concept. It plays a crucial role in our cognitive function. When we experience positive emotions like joy, gratitude, or contentment, our brains release a flood of beneficial neurochemicals that enhance mood, motivation, and even cognitive flexibility.
So it's not just about reducing stress, it's about actively cultivating happiness. And, the research suggests that happiness isn't always about grand gestures or major life changes. It's often found in the simple things. What are some of those everyday happiness habits that you practice?
One thing I try to do every day is start my morning with a gratitude practice. I take a few minutes to reflect on the things I'm grateful for, whether it's a warm cup of coffee, a beautiful sunrise, or simply the fact that I have a roof over my head. It's such a simple practice, but it really helps set a positive tone for the day.
I love that. It's like starting your day with a mental dose of sunshine.
Exactly. And throughout the day, I try to be more mindful of those little moments that bring me joy, whether it's a funny conversation with a friend, a delicious meal, or even just a few minutes of quiet time with a good book. It's about savoring those moments and letting them fill you up.
That's so important. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and forget to appreciate those little joys. I know I'm definitely guilty of that sometimes.
We all are. But the more we can train ourselves to notice and appreciate those moments, the happier and healthier our brains will be.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired to create my own happiness habit list. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about another key aspect of smarter living physical activity. We've talked about how exercise benefits our brains, but I'm curious, what kind of exercise do you find most enjoyable and mentally stimulating?
Well, I'm a big fan of hiking. There's something about being out in nature, surrounded by fresh air and beautiful scenery, that just clears my head and sparks my creativity.
I love that. I can definitely relate. When I'm out walking or hiking, I feel like my thoughts flow more easily, and I often come up with new ideas or solutions to problems that have been nagging at me.
It's amazing how our brains work, isn't it?
It really is. And, this research emphasizes that you don't have to be a marathon runner to reap the cognitive benefits of exercise. Even moderate activity like brisk walking, dancing, or swimming can make a big difference.
That's the beauty of it. It's about finding something you enjoy and making it a regular part of your routine.
So true. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to a topic we touched on earlier, the importance of working with our natural energy cycles to maximize productivity.
Ah, yes. The power of ultradian rhythms.
Can you remind us what those are again?
Ultradian rhythms are basically natural cycles of energy and focus that occur throughout the day. We're not designed to work at a constant high intensity for hours on end. We're more like sprinters than marathon runners, mentally speaking.
So instead of trying to power through, we should be working in shorter, more focused intervals.
Exactly. The research suggests working in blocks of 90 to 120 minutes, followed by short breaks to recharge.
And those breaks aren't about checking social media or grabbing more coffee, right?
Right. The key is to actively disconnect from work.
Yeah.
Get up, move your body, step away from your screens, maybe take a few minutes to meditate or just close your eyes and breathe deeply.
It's about giving your brain a chance to truly reset and come back refreshed. Now, this research also talks about identifying and eliminating those productivity killers in our environment. What are some tips for minimizing distractions and creating a workspace that supports deep, focused work?
The first step is awareness. Pay attention to what tends to pull your attention away from the task at hand. Is it your phone, email, social media, chatty coworkers? Once you've identified those distractions, you can start to implement strategies to minimize them.
That might mean turning off notifications, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb mode, or even letting your colleagues know that you need some uninterrupted time to focus.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of decluttering your workspace. A clean and organized environment can do wonders for your focus and clarity.
Such great advice. As we wrap up this deep dive into smarter living, I'm struck by how interconnected all of these factors are. It's not just about one magic bullet. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports our cognitive health and well-being.
I completely agree. It's about making those small, consistent choices each day that add up to big gains over time.
So what's one thing you're going to do differently starting today to boost your brain power and live a smarter, more fulfilling life?
I'm committing to being more intentional about incorporating those happiness habits into my daily routine. really savoring those little moments of joy.
That's fantastic. And I'm going to finally dust off that old keyboard in the attic and start taking those piano lessons I've always dreamed of.
I can't wait to hear you play. Remember, it's never too late to learn and grow.
So true. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into smarter living. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey of discovery. We've explored some fascinating research, uncovered practical strategies, and hopefully inspired you to take charge of your cognitive health.
It's been a pleasure. And remember, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep choosing happiness.
See you on the next deep dive.